Hey, this is Ryan Webb, and hope you're doing great. So here I have a very cool and amazing guitarist, David Stott, or shall I say Dr. Von Stottenstein. Hope I got that right.
Absolutely not. Yeah, bob on.
The guitarist from the band Ward 16.
That's
What
right.
can I say? A very dramatic, mysterious, dark, heavy. If I can get more words in there, trust me, guys, I would have. But you should check these guys out. They have a new album out called Metamorphosis. Really, really enjoying this one right now. This is what's in my CD player here in the studio. Believe it or not, yeah, I still have a CD player. Who doesn't?
Yeah, I
It's
love him.
I think that's the way you should listen to it, the way it's been recorded and stuff like that. So do check these guys out. We're just gonna dive right in and talk to David about, or Dr. Vaughan, shall I say, about how we recorded the album and the guitars and amps and all those good stuff. And if you are interested into such videos, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Would be really appreciated. So enough of me rambling on. Let's dive right in. Hey man, so thanks for taking the time and having this chat with me. Really appreciate it. And let's kick this off by me asking you, who is David Stott or Dr. Von Stottenstein?
Probably someone that's not as exciting as he sounds, to be honest. Yeah, until I'm a 43-year-old guitarist, really, and until I think I was about 37, I'd not been in a proper band before, never written any original music. So I was always I was focused on real life, children, and working and boring jobs. And but I'd come from a background of always listening to music, loving playing guitar. Been playing guitar since I was about 11. Just in bedroom, wasn't a student of it. Never learned theory. I just jammed along to Iron Maiden, Pink Floyd, Marillion. And it wasn't until I got told I was really ill that I thought I needed some way to prove or to show people, if when I'm not here, that I actually loved guitar. And that's when I joined the band, and things have gone crazy since then. And my character, Dr. Von Stottenstein, the other half of me, is the carefree, wild side of me that I think I always imagined when I was looking in the bedroom mirror, playing the guitar on my own in the bedroom. He's a front that allows me to just stop being the boring person that I was and completely become a different character and use it.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, man. So it's like basically, in order for the music to translate, you build up this character, or you always have this character at the back of your mind, growing up.
I've always loved character-driven music, concept albums, and some of the most the creative guitarists that created musical landscapes. So it wasn't just the music that you're listening to, but also the character in it. I don't necessarily think there was always a face that was painted, but I think I feel more at home and natural now with the makeup on stage than I do when I haven't got it off.
Yeah.
And when there's certain times, when you're stressed or you're anxious, I wish that I had the face paint on, because it's a way to shield me from real life.
Yeah, so the costumes and the whole band is all dressed up and stuff like. Is that all you guys deciding to do that? Or is there somebody helping you? Did somebody help you achieve that whole, the whole?
No, it's all us. Everything about the band, the artwork, the promotion, everything is done by us. So Kerry, who's our singer, does all the artwork, all the lyrics, all the painting, the album covers and everything. So we're very much a self-contained band. At the beginning, so the concept of the album and the storyline that were run through all of the 3 albums to form a trilogy was Kerry's idea, Psycho Berry's idea. And at the beginning, we'd always had this stage show in mind of having actors on stage and being able to act out and being more of a theatre rather than a music experience. But at the beginning, it was difficult to get some of the other band members involved in that. They were quite reluctant. Plus, at the very beginning, we all wore different costumes. It was just whatever you thought you wanted to wear. So it looked a bit gimmicky. Yeah. And although it is a bit of a gimmick what we do, there wasn't really a theme to it. And then it wasn't until a couple of years ago that we all thought that we needed to have something that linked up, like Slipknot, although they're all different individuals. They all had something that was almost you could tell they were all in Slipknot, and there's other bands that have done the same. So we went down the black and white stripes, and it wasn't anything other than the fact that as part of the character base of it being in an asylum and of hysteria, it was based upon an optical illusion.
Okay. Yeah.
That it's like black and white stripes, and we were meant to represent an optical illusion on stage, and that reflects part of the storyline. Yeah. So it was thought out, and unfortunately now, because we've been wearing black and white stripes for so long, we always see black and white stripes everywhere.
Yeah.
And we dress up in black and white, and we don't even think about it anymore. Yeah. And the baby's dressed up in black and white, and we don't even consciously do it. It's just it's habit now.
Yeah.
It's a curse.
So here comes a very common question, I would say, to a guitarist. So what were your early kind of influences like? Are they still in the past? Or you got any, guitarists from the present that is still influential, for you?
Yeah. Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden.
Cool.
Was completely, especially with Iron Maiden, and he did a solo album called ASAP, and I was infatuated with that when I was younger. Steve Rothery, Dave Gilmour, and Mark Knopfler. I started because I pinched all my dad's CDs and records. My first album that I ever bought was who was it? It was Europe, Final Countdown. So John Norum, Richard Sambora, and then I got more into the likes of Joe Satriani, and Steve Vai. And I loved Steve. Although Passion and Warfare is a fantastic album, I get drawn to Sex and Religion a lot more. I like that. Yeah. Unlike with Joe Satriani, I really enjoyed Flying in the Blue Dream a lot more than some of his others.
Yeah.
But and then, so I've always been into the guitarists that have not, and of course Eddie Van Halen and things like that. So and then Nuno Bettencourt and Key Marcello. So they were all very much guitarists that were able to you created melodies in your head, and you could almost sing along to the solos.
Yeah.
And that was what motivated me really.
Yeah.
And obviously there's other guitars like Yngwie and Nuno Bettencourt are big influence as well. But I was never able to play like them. I like listening to them, but I never tried to copy them. Maybe Nuno a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're the ones really that I always go back to.
Yeah.
And George Lynch and players like that I preferred them in band settings rather than necessarily doing instrumentals all the way through. And Paul Gilbert was the same.
Cool. It's pretty much, we are on the same page, man. There are pretty much all my, influences there. My early days of first learning solos were like Iron Maiden stuff, or really got into guitaring myself was Malmsteen. Saw one of his, videos, and that blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing?
My first Malmsteen was the album Eclipse.
Yeah,
that's my favorite Malmsteen album by far. I just loved how the music and the vocals. So I loved the package of it.
Yeah,
I could never play. Like I've tried to learn how to play arpeggios, and I'm just. It was too late. I'd already got stuck in a way that I play.
But your solos are it's got so much feel to it, man. I gotta say, it's right in your face, and you can hear those strings really, it's so in your face and clean. I keep repeating it because it's so free. I was just listening to it. You know, it's just amazing. I was just literally listening to the whole album. It's so cool. And yes, you guys, you have to buy this damn thing. So you can go and buy this freaking album. Ward16.com. What more could you ask for, right? Everything is down there.
Absolutely.
So rather cool guitars on the background there, man. I have to dive right into this one, you know. So
Yes.
three of them, which is your favorite?
This is one I've used the most, and because of the other day with EVH dying, it's my very favorite. It's for a while I'd always been I bought them, you know, the middle of the range Super Strats for forever, you know, like the £400 Super Strats, and they were so generic. And then we went on tour, and I just needed a really good heavy guitar, so I bought this, and I've never looked back. I love it. I've had this longer than anything else, and it's just so heavy, and I love ebony. I had an N4 for a while, but because we use blood on stage, I fake blood on stage.
Glad you corrected that, man. Fake blood.
It was food coloring, and I was playing the N4, and because I hasn't got any lacquer on it, I spat blood, and it actually got into the grain and stained it, and it's like, no. So I wanted something. I like the so this is beautiful. It's like my favorite, and we went on tour of it. And it got Doyle from we toured with Doyle, who was in the Misfits. So he signed the back because his name's Wolfgang. So it's Ace. So I haven't changed anything. I haven't modded the pickup, so I haven't done anything to it. It's just wonderful.
So pretty much stock, you would say, right? All stock. What gauge of strings and brand of strings are you using, man, on that one?
I've always used Ernie Ball Super Slinkies 9s, the pinks. I don't know why. I just thought when I first started to play guitar, they were the ones, when you went into a guitar shop, they were always there, and they were so bright. They were the ones that we got. And then you obviously look at the back of the package, and all my hero, you know, Iron Maiden, Paul Gilbert, Luke Hathey, you know, Lukather, everybody uses it. So I've tried a couple of different brands over the years, but they've either snapped very quickly or they haven't lasted as long. So I always go back to the Super Slinkies.
I've been using Ernie Balls for past 20 odd years, man. I think now. Same here. Apart from the, you know, as you said, it's all stock, right? So along the way, have you done any kind of things with the, you know, the Floyd Rose, or is that a genuine?
It's already got the detuner on it. Just so it's
all right.
The only thing I've changed on it is the Sinister Gate stripes, like yours in the back. You can see yours there.
There you go.
Yeah, I love that. The only
I
thing,
just took it out.
So because we wear black and white stripes, I tried to do uniform stripes, and it didn't look very good. So I copied the Sinister Gates one with the same kind of thickness and the gaps and things, and it looks pretty cool. But that's the only thing I've done to it. Is
that the guitar you use mostly on the album?
It was this one mostly for the majority of the 6-string, the 6-string and drop D songs. And then for the first time ever, because when we were writing, Kerry started to write in B. We usually write in G or E. Okay. And we dabbled a little bit in B, so I thought I need to buy another guitar. So I bought a 7-string for the first time, because I was in the other albums we had 2 guitarists, so we were a little bit as a fuller sound. So we tried it. We got a drop B out, and it was really good to play. So I bought this, which is a limited, the LTD 747 or something, 707. So it's EC 407. But
is it all stock again, man? Is that yet again all stock and same Ernie Balls on there?
Yeah, Ernie Balls with fat bottoms on it. Like it's like a 50, 52 on the bass. The only thing I've changed on it is I've had the pickup spray painted.
Cool.
So the EMGs. I personally prefer passive pickups.
All right.
Than actives, but I don't want to get into rewiring it, so I'm just going to stick with it. But so this and the Wolfgang with the main guitars that I used recording.
So how often do you change your strings? Yet another common question, man. I would assume, before every recording session or whatever, but generally, would you just keep it for like 3 weeks or something like that for rehearsals?
Yeah, but it depends how much I rehearse, because I've got several guitars. I've got a guitar that I rehearse with, so I don't really have to mess around with these ones. But if I'm gigging quite a lot, it'll be about once a month.
Okay.
If that's like gigs every week or whatever, sometimes it's a bit longer, and I just because what I do make sure to do at the end of every gig is I wipe it down, with the
is that GHS thing you got?
Yeah, the GHS stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So I do that and look after it, and I do the same with the back of the neck. So I don't like to have a build up of skin and residue on it. I always look after it.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe fake blood though.
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah. One look at, and I've only just bought it.
All right, cool.
I stopped playing guitar for ages. In the 90s, I just stopped playing guitar, and then Creed came around in the late 90s, and I really got into Mark Tremonti, and I've been looking for one of his guitars for ages. And I love Alter Bridge as well, and they were probably I had two peaks of loving guitar. One of I made, and then I stopped, and then I got into like Alter Bridge, Mark Tremonti, and I'd always liked how classy single cut Mark Tremonti PRS looks like. So it's the SE, but it's just an amazing guitar, and I think I wanted with some of the solos on the new album. There's a lot more trem bends and things like that on it, which is difficult to do on the Wolfgang because the bridge only goes down because Eddie set it. Yeah, so it's flush with the body.
Yeah, for the drop D, right?
Yeah. But but with this one, you can pull up. So I got this, and it's really nice. It's the only guitar,
How stable is the tuning on that one?
Really good.
It's floating, okay.
Yeah, really good.
And that is a stock that comes with the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's cool, man.
It's really cool. You can pull it up quite a few semitones. So it is a really, really nice guitar. I think I probably need to change the pickups. I've been playing it at practice when we crank up the volume a little bit, and it makes a bit of a noise. So I'll probably get some better pickups to deal with that. But cool. It is ace.
It's good to know, man.
It's a grown up one.
So are you a traditional guy, like to use tube amplifiers? Are you into, one of these modern, Axe effects or Kempers and Helix?
No, I'm old and useless at all modern technology. I actually played Line 6 forever. I played it I had the Line 6 amp, Spider amp for since, I don't know, early 90s to about 3 years ago. And I like the way, because I'm not. When you've got, I think, a valve amp, you really need to know how to play it and hit the right notes.
Yeah.
For me, anyway, I like, and I'm not very good with pedal boards. Yeah. I think the more things you've got on stage, the more things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So I always had a Line 6. And I liked how efficient it was in terms of you had as many effects as you could have. You could store it on one pedal, and then that's all you had.
Yeah.
And the only other thing was I had a wah pedal. And then we recorded the first album and played Bloodstock with Line 6, and I listened to it back, and it didn't saturate. It was very tinny, and I didn't like the sound that I heard after. So and then lucky enough, I got endorsed by Black Star. They came along and asked me to be one of their artists.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not using the I'm using a TVP 100, which is a modeling amp,
All
but
right.
the models on it on artists that they're
Yeah.
actually different valves.
Yeah.
So I've been able to work with a couple of friends to model out different
Yeah.
valve amps, which you use. So
Yeah.
it's a purist. It's still
Yeah.
a modeling amp, you know,
Yeah.
but it's just I like the digital, but I'm not
Yeah.
clever enough to use a Kemper either, or I haven't got enough time to dial in thousands and thousands of effects. I'm
Yeah.
quite straightforward with it,
Cool.
really.
So do you think there will be a signature model coming out with Black Star anytime in the near future? Or would you like that? I think it'll be every guitarist's dream, wouldn't it?
I don't think my tone or my requirements of a tone are that idiosyncratic to require one. I don't think what I do requires something that just a stock bog standard amp could do.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to, but I think that's ego more than anything else.
The album sounds killer, man. It got the tones on the album, you know. Earlier on I was chatting to you and you said, you know, you wanted to get that sound, and you guys were happy till you got that sound, and it's freaking amazing, you know. So basically it's a very kind of simple setup you have, pedal wise. It's got like 3 or 4 pedals. Has that changed during the years, you know, right from the start till now?
No, I've always had with my settings, especially because the presets, I've always had a little bit of delay. I've always had, you know, a little bit of chorus when need be, or a bit of reverb. I've always had quite a lot of gain on it, and I like to get. And somehow I'm able to get compression by the way I play, because I play really heavy and I grip the guitar quite hard. I'm not one of these people that can just float up the neck.
All right.
Like a Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's like a baseball bat. But I haven't. The one difference with, I think, the Black Star than there was with the Line 6 was the patch pedal that you get with the Black Star is quite hard to navigate on stage.
Okay. Yeah.
You can't just turn the chorus off and on and things like that. You tend to lose what patch you're on.
Yeah.
So I have bought another couple of pedals, like a chorus pedal and a flanger, just to turn off and on when need be.
Yeah.
But I've always been really minimalistic. The only pedal I've had is that.
All right.
And that's the only pedal I've ever had.
Yeah.
And that's for about 20 years now. I've not used anything else.
Cool. Let's dive right into this amazing album, man. So I would have you used any, you know, once you're tracking your guitars and stuff like that, was it all done with the Black Star, or have you done anything, you know, offshore? Do you DI your guitars?
Yeah,
and, you know, the mixing guy does some kind of magic.
Yeah, we used about there must be, I think there's about 10 different tracks on every song, guitar wise. We put loads and loads of different layers in. So, and what we do is we had the Black Star, and then we had an orange Thunderverb.
All right.
Head. And then what we did was we'd record with the Black Star with one guitar and a Thunderverb with another guitar. So they were completely different. And then we'd swap them over. So we swapped the guitars over. So we did that about 5 different times. And then we did a few of the different tunings. So there'd be I'd drop it down a level or something like that. So there'd be quite a few layers on it.
Yeah.
We didn't use an Axe effects. We used, I can't remember what there's a new Line 6.
It's not the Helix, is it?
The Helix, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
The studio had the Helix.
Yeah.
So some of the more ambient sounds were played through that. On one of the songs, Burn the Witch, I was playing it like Jimmy Page, with the violin bow.
Yeah, cool.
So in the background we've got
Yeah.
the ambient kind of hum.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
me playing an open. I tuned the guitar to open D,
Cool.
and just played it like just droned all the way through, and just made ambient noises.
So does that
really
bow ever end up on a live stage?
Oh, I don't think so.
That would be cool, man. That would be absolutely cool, for a different setup.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool to hear that. So how did you feel actually, playing through a Line 6? Did you feel any difference playing wise, the feel or anything like that?
Yeah, there was a lot of top end, I think, and when compared to it's hard to describe, but it felt one dimensional, or two dimensional. And then what I wanted, especially with some of the warmer tones that I wanted for a lot of the rhythms and the solo, what I needed a bit of.
Would you say
it needed to be a fuller song and width, and a bit of heart in it.
Yeah,
and I couldn't get that. In the thought of getting tube screamers and things like that. And it wasn't until I got a Black Star that I actually got that, and it just filled out, and it was a lot of body in it, and a lot of grunts. Because getting back to the same before, I really love that Iron Maiden and Adrian Smith's playing. But what I naturally find is when I'm on stage, I play more like Dave Murray, because it's a bit easier it's a bit safer to play,
Very
so
cool.
If I'm playing one kind of lead, I'll play like Adrian Smith, and then if I want to let go a little bit, I'll turn my neck pickup on and just noodle and legato a little bit.
That
like
sounds
he did.
amazing.
So I needed a bit more full sound.
Yeah. So does the band go into a studio and write, new music, or for instance, this album? How did the album come about? And was it you guys, if you have a little home studio set up, do you write, they put down all the ideas and then take it over to rehearsals? How does the whole process work, especially with this album, which I'm really digging right now?
The first album was jammed in our rehearsal studios, so it was. I think there was a lot of compromises in it.
Yeah,
and I think there's a lot especially when you're a new band, or like a newly formed band, and there's two guitarists and things like that. You tend to not be as assertive as you want to be. You let other people do more things than you'd want them to, and things like that. With this album, we wrote it in this room. Whoa. So we've got a computer here, and there's the microphone and things like that. So we recorded it via Cubase. Cool. And I've got a UX1 Line 6 interface, but then I used that a little bit and then just went straight into Cubase. And we wrote, myself and Kerry, who's the singer, wrote the majority of the album here in quite a controlled way, so it wasn't jamming it. We'd write notes and write ideas down, and she'd write the piano and things like that. And then she'd go, maybe I'd quite like the song to go this way or that way, so can you play this type of riff? And I'd go, okay, try this. Yeah. And then we'd structure the song all the way along. And I felt doing that, you didn't have to compromise on how long you wanted the guitar solo or which way you want. And sometimes in the first album, the guitar solos were rushed and you didn't have a lot of time. And the way I played on them sounded like that. It sounded like I was just playing for the sake of it. Whereas this new album, I was able to structure it and structure the length of time that I played the solos, that I actually was able to tell a story through it and practice it and have time to do that. And I think as well as that, the benefit was that we could almost demo a whole song and put the sequence to drums and the keys to a certain extent on it and the vocals, and we could download it onto our phone and listen to it like it was a proper album. You could actually hear if it worked or not, where the good parts, the bad parts, the bits that needed to change. And then once we had that about 85% done, we sent it to everybody else, and then they added their bits to it. We then learned it. We went to the rehearsal studios, tweaked bits of the drums to add a bit of dynamics and things like that. And then once we'd done that in the rehearsal studios, we come back here and we changed the drums on the demo.
Okay.
Or change the guitar in the demo. So that was still almost the complete article.
Yeah.
We then sent that onto our recording, our producer, and we used that as the footprint of everything that we did.
Yeah.
So it was really easy. It was less stress than last time.
Yeah. Cool, man. Sounds really interesting indeed. So would you say most of the the big wide orchestration kind of sound was all you guys, or was it a different set of team, with the use?
No, it's
all right.
Sorry, the fellow that did the orchestra.
Yeah.
He was the key. He's called Martin Crawley.
All right.
And he's a former member of the band. So he was the accordion player and the keyboard player on the first album. He left. And then because we wanted to have continuity in the music, because it's the one storyline, he wrote it again. So he's a composer, and writes a lot, and and he wants to obviously write for other people and things like that. So he'd had a couple of ideas that we latched onto and developed from his ideas, and likewise he did the same, and then we just built on top of it, and we've got. The opera singer was a friend of ours who was called Annabelle Ratney, and she did our PR when we were at Bloodstock, because she was also in Devilment. So we wanted to keep it like a family. So she did the opera on the Good Night Shot. But it's all us. But it's That's we just really used a lot of it's all on keyboards, computers, and things like that.
Yeah, cool. So, are you guys signed to a record label?
Yeah, we're signed to Offshoot Rocker or Metal Rocker.
All right,
which is an offshoot of HRH. Yeah, so they've really been supportive.
All right, that sounds really cool. So, a very different question here. As soon as I put the album on, I think a few minutes down, and I heard kids crying. Are those your kids?
Yes.
That is even cool.
So we when we played the SOS a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And Kerry I think she was like 8-9 months pregnant. And then we started to do the demos and write the demos. It must have been, I think the baby had been born for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we were recording while the baby was asleep, and then there's a couple of times, because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
We'd sampled the baby crying as part of that. Because it's there, and then the girl that's speaking on Mr. Babadook is my elder daughter.
Yeah. That is cool.
And the kids on Broken Toys singing at the end of our kids as well. So we just
Yeah.
So
how do you kind of get this whole message out there when you're gigging? I know you guys put up a big show. What happens behind the scenes? How involved are you guys as a band? The before and the whole setup and stuff like that.
Very, we make all our own props. So everything that's on stage we build ourselves. So electric chairs and things like that we build, and we like to be very much a part of it. And I think until recently, now that we've got an actor, he helps us move things on and off the stage. But until recently, we were the ones having to play the music, and then at a point in time where props needed to come on the stage, we'd have to leg it off and put it on, which is really difficult because it took our focus off the music. But we like to be involved because it's good to understand how everything works. Yeah, and we like to talk to people as well.
Cool. So I would imagine you wouldn't take on a small gig or a small venue. It would be difficult for you guys to actually put on.
We used to. We've played really small. Really small stages where we've had so much on stage band members had to be off the stage, and or we've had, you know, the stage has been so small that the props that we have an electric chair and a table that we execute someone on and things like that, they've had to be actually in the crowd. So we've played our share of really small venues.
Yeah.
And it kind of teaches you how to, and we feel more, sometimes it's funny because sometimes you feel more comfortable playing on those stages rather than when you get to a really big stage, you almost feel lost because it's so big.
Yeah.
But we're starting, not what we're starting to do now is because one of the other benefits of writing the album the way that we have done is that along the way that we've been writing the song and the story, we've been writing what the production on stage is going to be like as well. Yeah. So it's good, and we want a light show and a video show behind us and things like that. So we've written both parts of it in parallel.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what's going to happen probably won't be able to fit on stage. But that's if we can get back on stage. But the ambition of us really is to, I think in the past, we'd compromise what we'd bring on stage according to how big the stage was.
Yeah.
And I think by doing that, you don't treat the crowd as well as you should do. They've come to see you and you come to see a show, and they don't care if it's too small, and they don't care if you've only got a car to bring all the stuff in. They want to see the show, and by not bringing it, I think you cheat them a little bit. So we stopped bringing all of our gear in cars. We started to hire a van. So we go, we're not going to treat this any differently than any other show. We're going to have the backdrop, we're going to have lights, we're going to have all the props, and we'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit more fun like that. It makes it a bit more pantomime, and the people can get involved a bit more.
Yeah.
But we do want to start, obviously, the plans of this album are to get onto bigger stages and become a bit more ambitious with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably not play as many gigs that you probably would have, turned down gigs that you probably wouldn't done in the past.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we necessarily need to do 80 to 90 gigs a year anymore.
Yeah.
We want to work within a point of where, doing consolidated blocks of tours rather than a pub every Friday night, every Saturday night here and there. But, it'd be nice to just do anything at the moment. So the beggars can't be choosers.
Wouldn't it be nice? So I believe you guys haven't been gigging for a few months now. Is that right?
The last gig was November.
Freaking hell.
We'd intentionally kept this year quiet.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to, because we've got a stage show.
Yeah.
If you see it enough, you get bored of it.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was we only played about 6 gigs last year. They're all good festivals and good events, but we didn't want to oversaturate and carry on doing the same thing, and so people get bored.
Yeah.
And then with this year, because we wanted to really focus on Disappear and create almost like a hunger for us and things like that, we hadn't booked anything other than a launch gig. So we would have, our first real gig would have been last night. Last night was meant to be our launch gig for the album.
Yeah, yeah.
Which obviously didn't happen. But we'd intentionally kept this year quiet so we could come back with a bang. But didn't work out, did it?
So do the music actually change when you perform live, or is that intentional? Would you... it's something some bands like to make it sound a little bit different. For instance, Dream Theater changes every freaking time.
Yeah. I get told off for change. I get told off quite a lot for improvising solos.
All right.
So on the old album, because on the old album I didn't like any of the solos that I played, so I tend to either improvise or what it's like on stage. You get adrenaline and you just start making noise.
Yeah.
And then you listen to it back and it doesn't sound very good. So I intentionally with this album wrote solos that I really like to play.
Yeah.
So that I want to play it note for note.
Yeah.
Because I get the feels when I play it.
Yeah.
So with this album, because we want to be a bit more professional, and we're gonna have different acts or different layers and backing tracks and all the theatre and all the the symphony to it. I think we've written it in a way which doesn't allow us to improvise that much anymore.
Yeah.
I do like to add a little bit of a note here and there, but I think what we need to be is a bit more professional and actually hit the notes we should be, rather than trying to play with your teeth and then find a note.
That'll be me, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna miss that note. Let me grab my
and you feel brilliant doing it, and then you watch YouTube the day after, and it's like, oh no.
So hopefully this is a good question. How long would you work on a solo? Like on a track, you say, okay, I've got to finish this right now. And would you say, okay, I'm going to give it an hour or come back to it and stuff like that? Or would you just sit down and say, I'm going to finish this track, finish this solo, and not look back?
Yeah. The solos on the new album, I spent a lot of time on it, because I almost taught myself how to play again.
All right.
So I was always stuck in the blues box for a long time, pentatonics and all that kind of stuff. And with the first album, I rushed a lot of it and tried to do a lot too much shred type playing.
Yeah.
With this one, I wanted it to be more bluesy, more dynamic. More Dave Gilmour, more Adrian Smith. So it's really like melodic.
Yeah.
So I wrote it like I almost wrote a melody line.
Yeah.
And I'd sing it in my head first.
Yeah.
So I'd do the backing track of the song, and then I'd sing it, and then I'd start learning how to play it.
Yeah.
So there's a song, Burn a Witch, which I used a completely new scale that I'd never used before, which the Phrygian type, Egyptian-y type one, which I'd never played. So I had to teach myself how to play it, and then try to construct and compose a solo through it. So I did spend a lot of time. I generally have it in my head what it should sound like. I just got to then put my fingers where my head tells me to.
Yeah.
But I spent a few weeks on that and the Cradle Song solo just to get it right, just so I didn't regret it. And then at the studio, I just played it until I nailed it. I just played it and played it and played it and played it and played it. Because I'm not a very technically gifted player. When I do videos or whenever I've played, I've never been taught how to play guitar. I played or learned by listening and jamming along to records and things like that. So accuracy was never something that I really focused on.
Yeah.
I just played what I wanted to play. And then obviously when you're writing, you have to be a lot direct and you have to nail it every single time. And it's not just hitting a note, it's the dynamic of it and the phrasing of it.
Yeah.
So I did spend a lot of time actually nailing the mood.
Yeah.
And because it's quite an emotional album at times, it was easy to just hit that, get the mood and play it.
Yeah.
And really feel it. And I'm really
you can definitely tell from the album, man, by listening to it. So now that the album is out, any regrets on the solos?
No, none at all.
That is
I think it, none at all. Maybe one could have been turned up a little bit, but no. And there's one bit. I think it's minute 7 minute 40 on the Cradle Song.
Yeah,
and I hit a sweet note on like an outro solo.
Yeah,
and that gives me goosebumps. So it's like,
that's the best thing, man. That is the best thing. Cool. So earlier you mentioned that you are endorsed by Black Star amps, and are there any other brands you endorsed by?
Yeah, I use In-Tune picks.
Cool. Are they based in the UK?
No, they're American.
All right.
In-Tune GP, they're American. I used to be a Dunlop jazz pick.
Same here. That's what I use. The JPs.
Yeah. I use JPs for 8 because I loved how sharp they were. Yeah. And then when we played Bloodstock, we got a free bag. From them, and I went, oh, these are really good.
All
So
right.
I spoke to them, and he said, yeah, they based the, obviously they based the some of their picks on similar picks.
Yeah.
But there's some really good players that played in like really big bands that you'd think everyone plays Dunlops, but they don't.
Yeah.
But
What's the grip like? On the JP.
really good. It's just like a Tortex.
Oh, all right.
It's exactly like a Tortex. So my first
I need to
one,
check them out, man.
that's 3.
That would be
so
cool.
they're probably the JP are a bit thicker, aren't they?
All right.
And you've got the grip there, and it's sharper where it's fine. But I'll send you a couple and see what you like. They're really cool.
Great, man.
They're nice people as well. So you can obviously get your own custom. You talk to them, send your info to them, you have a chat.
Yeah.
And they custom it for you, and you get loads of money off and whatever.
Yeah.
But they're really cool.
I'll actually hit them an email. Let's see what happens. I'll say,
Dude, I'll
16, send me over.
I'll send you some.
Cool. So so those are the 2 brands that you're endorsed by. That's amazing. So is there a shout out you want to give out, to your fans or your brands that's endorsed, and anybody else out there?
Yeah, well, Joel from Black Star has been amazing. We played a festival called SOS a couple of years ago in Manchester, and just before we went on stage, we were packing our van in the morning, and we went back in the house. We went back to the car, and someone had stole all our gear. So it took my head and everything. So we were gutted, but they sorted me out so quickly afterwards. It was phenomenal. So Joel's been amazing. Shout out! This is my favorite pedal. This is my Mark Tremonti wah pedal. This is the only pedal or anything I've had since early 2000s that's been consistent through my playing.
Yeah.
So I've changed guitars, changed amps. I've always had this, and again, when all my gear got stolen, my pedal that I had for like 19 years got stolen. I was devastated. So I thought, okay, I tried a Crybaby.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was a bit too tinny, a bit too high end for me.
Yeah.
I tried the George Lynch Morley. I tried loads of different wahs, and then none of them had my sound.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I got there, but I had to buy it again, and then it was just like it never left me. Just dialed in my sound straight away. So it's got treble. It's got like a 16 decibel treble boost on a gain boost on it.
All right.
So when you play it, if you want to play it and then get a bit of gain when you solo, and it just cuts through the rhythm a bit. So that's Morley, Mark Tremonti.
Yeah.
I usually please.
Cool, man. So what are you up to right now? What is the band up to right now?
We're trying to work out what to do about. Well, obviously the album's just out, and it was COVID was good for us, to be honest, because
you're probably the only band are saying that.
Well,
hell, man.
because I've got health condition. We were shielded for 5 months.
Yeah.
So when we were shielded, we produced the album. We helped mix the album. We did all the artwork. We did the website. We did everything. We tried to organize the gig and all the merch, and so we were able to do it 24 hours a day without having to worry about work and being tired. So that it was a blessing. And then obviously now we've released it, we can't gig it, so we can't get the album out to the people that would sometimes not have heard of us any other way than by passing us on the gig. So that's so we're trying to find a way to maximize on the release and not lose momentum. Yeah. So it was good today. Our album was released in HMV, which was amazing. It's like seeing your album.
I saw that on social media, man. That was cool.
Crazy. It's just crazy. It's like the most surreal thing ever.
Yeah.
But it's trying to find a way really to make sure that we don't lose any momentum, because we personally, I'm sure everyone feels the same about the music when we release it. We're really proud of the album, it's something that we poured every second of love into, and spent a lot of money on it, to be fair, but that's not the point. But we feel something about the album. It's something that's really special to us, and we know there's something a little bit good about it.
Yeah.
And we just don't want to lose that opportunity that I think we've looked to get to a certain next step or next level. So I was trying to think of a way to do it, and so we'll continue to plan a tour and the launch gig that's in Manchester Academy. But in the meantime, we just need to find a way to keep everyone interested.
Yeah. Would you guys ever think of doing a gig online? You know, actually have a whole stage set up and
well, we thought about it.
Dudes like Devin Townsend and all that's doing right now.
Well, we'd thought about it. The only thing that stopped us, especially before January, is that because on our launch gig, we're playing the whole album from start to finish as a storyline with actors and things like that. We've sold tickets for people thinking that's going to be the first time we've ever played it.
Yeah.
So what we don't want to do is cheat people out of the money that, you know, we want people to come to that show.
Yeah.
So I think if that doesn't go ahead for any reason, if COVID continues to be what it is, or the way that it's been arranged or managed continues the way it is, then I think we'll need to think about something like that. But I think we didn't want to cheat anybody. You know, we said that this gig would be the first time anyone's seen it from start to finish. So we want to stay true to that really until we've got no choice otherwise. But definitely, I think it does lend itself to being like a theatre and being shown like that.
Yeah.
We just have to think of how we do it if it comes to it. We might have to do it like that next time.
Yeah. Cool. Well, man, this has been absolutely amazing, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time and having this chat with me. So a big thank you, and hopefully I'll get to catch you guys really soon. So guys, if you are listening in, Guitarist Ward 16, the new album Metamorphosis, do check these guys out. Sounds absolutely killer. Where can anyone get the album from?
You can get it on iTunes, Amazon, Google, all the online things. You can go to www.ward16.com. That's 16 XVI, not XV1. We've got Bandcamp, which is ward16.bandcamp.com. You can get it in HMV now. You can get it anywhere, really. Find it anywhere.
There you go. The man said it himself.
Anywhere, yeah.
So cool. Thanks a lot, man. And I'll catch you guys really soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.